The March of Dimes is an incredible nonprofit organization. Their mission is to improve the health of babies by preventing birth defects, premature birth, and infant mortality. Back in 1938, the polio virus was one of the deadliest viruses around that affected many children and adults. President Franklin D. Roosevelt created the March of Dimes as he was a polio survivor himself to help end the tragic disease. As he knew a lot of people and connections, he reached out to them and asked to give what they could, even if it was just a dime, and eventually everybody came together and raised millions of dollars for the cure. You are actually more connected and involved with this organization than you think, because if your mom took folic acid when she was pregnant, you are a March of Dimes baby. Also, if you were born healthy at 39 weeks and had a peel prick newborn screening, you are also a new March of Dimes baby. I think they do an awesome job at getting the word out there because they utilize all social media such as Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Down at the right hand corner, you can see that there are just a few. And so, first, we're going to go to the Pinterest one. And since there are so many, we're just going to look at a few of them. And you can see there's a huge that goes from a huge spectrum from World Prematurity Day to sharing the inspiring stories to words of hope, because unfortunately every child does not get that happy and healthy life that they deserved, and it helps especially families deal with that tragicness and just gives them like words of wisdom and hope just to like keep going. And then also, if you want to get involved, there's events. So as you can see, there's just a bunch of different things that you can look at. And then we're going to go back to the Facebook. But first, I think that all of the with all the social media is being used, March of Dimes does a really good job at keeping their professional and organizational identity to an elite for a number of reasons: that they know their audience and are aware of who they're talking to when viewing their posts. They keep an open mind when viewing their posts, so they don't do anything that can be negative or too offensive to the organization, as well as all their comments in posts and blogs are true and genuine. And so it helps a lot when all of the social media apps are using positive and helpful information for the March of Dimes, because it portrays them as such a positive organization. And so now we'll go to the Facebook. As you can see, they have almost 600,000 likes, which is awesome. And they can do a ton of stuff, and you can see that they can go, parents or mothers who are going to have a kid can go down and look at the 39-week growth chart for babies, and it gives a good explanation. And then also it can give you different events. You can create your own story. You can learn more about the March for babies and just how to get involved. So it's just a really cool way to stay connected to this organization, as well as looking at all the articles and all the photos. And because this nonprofit organization is so great and does so many wonderful things for families, I think that they could get the word out there explaining what they do even more by comparing this non-profit organization to others. This only has 600,000 likes, which is still great because that means so many people are involved doing great things. But if you look at Autism Speaks or American Cancer Society, they have 1.5 million or over a million followers and likes on their Facebook profile. So it just makes you wonder, what do those nonprofits do compared to March of Dimes, and what can March of Dimes do to increase their followers so that way more people can get involved and aware of what they are doing. So with this, I think they can improve on their big listening skills, as they can really tune in on what conversations are being regularly talked about, and it will save them time and money while getting them more connected with their organization in the process. And then thinking if this organization has more of an interactive relationship with others or if it is more transparent. I think it solely depends on which aspects you are looking for at the March of Dimes. If you are looking at the side of the spectrum where you're wanting to become a volunteer or learn how to do events and you're going to be more likely to communicate back and forth and have a more interactive experience. And as well, if you're like sharing and commenting and tweeting with them back and forth, it allows a lot of feedback. But on the other hand, and on the other side, if you're just exploring the site and checking it out and looking at all the content about the information such as prematurity and research and all this kind of stuff, it's more of a transparent way, because the March of Dimes always has this information readily available for you, and they don't really have to, if you're not asking anything, they're not really going to say anything back, I guess. So it's more of just like a one way. So I guess that question can go back and forth, and what type of like relationship it creates with their people that are involved in their organization. And then I think when people get involved, I think it would be moderately easy for them to jump up the ladder of engagement, because there's so many opportunities that are included in this organization. And so once they do, and since they all appear to be so inviting and promising, I think that once volunteers do like kind of like get their feet a little bit wet and seeing what it's all about, I think they're just going to find themselves being more and more engaged in the organization. So I think the March of Dimes did a really good job setting up their own ladder of engagement, from their videos to their articles and from all of their inspiring stories.